How you doing, Kevin?
I'm good, boss. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Just getting ready. Got a lot of things happening here in the coming up, of course, with WRIF Fest. You're going to be part of that. And right before that, the new record drops. Now, I thought that the new record was supposed to drop previously.
It was supposed to come out last year,
That's
man.
what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only been sitting on this thing for 2 years. We recorded it in August of 2019. I finished the vocals in January of 2020, and the record was mixed and mastered in February of last year. It was supposed to come out in August. So, um, yeah, we've been sitting on this one for a while. But it's the nice thing about it, it's given us everybody in the band a lot of time to get acclimated with the songs in order to go out there and play them live. So that's the thing I think we're most excited about with it is actually having people finally hear it.
Yeah, and I talked to a lot of bands about this, but it's like not only play the songs, kind of get used to the songs as well. But did you have a chance to fine tune them, or did you, or during the pandemic, or was it pretty much all set before the pandemic started?
Well, once we mixed and mastered it, I think we were kind of, committed at that point. I mean, we
Right.
could always go back and, readjust some stuff, but, that's not my style. I've never been a guy that's kind of over questioned what it is that I've done musically. I just, when I feel it's done, it's done. And, if I missed something, I can always go back and change it live, and focus on it that way rather than worrying about the record. I mean, people want to hear the album, they'll listen to the record. But I think what's great about Candlebox, over the years is that we've always just kind of played the songs the way we want to play them, live. And I think that's what people love about it. So maybe that's why we're still here.
Yeah, yeah, right. And of course, you released the first single, "All Downhill from Here." What's the rest of the record sound like? What kind of flavor will we be able to hear?
It's kind of I've used the term bipolar. It really has moments of manic high and extreme lows. It's a very, very different record for us. I don't know if you've heard the song "Let Me Down Easy," which is a song that I recorded with Peter Cornell on this record. It's a lot different than this track. And then there's a song that we released a couple weeks ago called "My Weakness," which is basically a pop song. So we kind of just did what we wanted to do musically. We didn't stop ourselves from going in a direction. If the song was progressive, in a progressive rock sort of sense, we went there. If the song was blues based, we went there. If it was Americana, we went there. We did not stop ourselves. That's the first time we've done that, actually, where we didn't really overthink the process of the songwriting and the recording. So it's very, very different for us. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with a lot of what this record has to offer. And I know I was when I started singing to these tracks. I was really stoked. I was like, man, I didn't think we had it in us. So we did,
Yeah, it's weird to be talking to you now. I'm just thinking as I'm talking to you because you're talking about playing new Candlebox songs and in 2021, and I can remember playing songs off the first record on the radio when it first came out. So man, what a journey it's been, huh?
Yeah, we've been together a long time, you and me, bro.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's not what I was saying, but so who's actually in the band right now?
It's the same guys that have been with me for a while. Adam Curry on bass, Brian Quinn on guitar, Island Styles on guitar. We have a new drummer now, Robin Diaz, who has played with everybody from Hole to Peter Murphy to he's played with so many bands. Great friend of mine. I actually was with Daughtry for a long, long time. Because cruising, Dave is having surgery on his elbows, and he's got tendonitis and some stuff. So he's kind of had to bow out for a little while. We don't know if Dave's coming back to the band, to be honest with you, just because of what he's having to deal with as a musician. It's those things that drummers kind of get, carpal tunnel or tendonitis or tennis elbow. When it sets in hard. So that's just an unfortunate side of this business, and a little bit unfortunate side of getting older as well. But yeah, I mean, it's the same guys have been playing with me for literally the past 3 years, except for a new drummer.
Yeah, and now a few years back, you reunited with the original band, right, and did a couple shows out in Seattle. Hey, how'd that go?
It was great. We're doing it again this November. We have, well, we were supposed to do it last year. It's the 25th anniversary of Lucy last October.
Yeah.
We were going to do it then, but that, got squelched. So we're doing it this November. And we're actually doing we're doing something different. We're doing kind of like a best of. So we're doing, the first night is at this place called the Crocodile. And that's kind of our favorite songs. It's an acoustic set. So it's kind of set up like Unplugged. And we're playing all our favorite songs acoustically, and then a few cover songs in there that we attempted over the years. And then the next night is full band at the Paramount, which is our favorite theater in the city to play. And that's, again, a best of. So we'll be playing Lucy, and we'll be playing things from Happy Pills from the debut, and the last 3 records as well. So it'll be the first time Pete and Barty and Scott actually have played anything new by the band that they weren't a part of. So that's going to be really interesting to hear their take on those songs as well.
Now, I'm not in a band. I'm just married, I guess, to one person. But when you get back together with people like that you played with years ago, what is it like to get back? Is it like riding a bike? Do you just get back, or is there a little bit of I don't know, a little bit of feeling out process?
No, it's literally like riding a bike. I mean, we were such a fine-tuned machine when we got going. Candlebox, Pete, Barty, myself, and Scott. It's such a pleasure. I mean, we're the best of friends, and I mean, I think a lot of people assume that the band broke up because it was bad blood. It's just really everybody decided to go somewhere else when the record deal with Maverick fell apart and things weren't going well. People looked for other ways to make a living, and Barty became an attorney, and Scott started this business with water filtration, and Pete got into producing and arranging for bands and stuff. So it just kind of seemed like, well, when I put things back together, everybody's like, well, I've kind of got a job now, so it was strange. But I mean, the best part of it is that when we do get back together, we literally have the best time. And it's really nice to kind of play together again, because you haven't played with one another in so long, and you remember those feelings you got the first time you jammed together. I mean, when Barty came to the studio to try out for the band as the bass player, he brought you and Far Behind with him, so that's kind of that's our history. Those our two biggest songs were brought by our bass player who came to try out for the band, so that's something that you never forget, and it feels exactly the same every time we play together.
So wait a second. He had those songs. I never heard this before. He had those songs written before he came to the band.
He had the bass lines. Yeah, there's actually the guitar riff of Far Behind was actually the bass line. He had the full song developed. Excuse me. And then the bass line for You was the bass line, and we wrote the song around it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I love that. Sometimes I'll play the live version of Far Behind, and you guys go into the Hendrix in the middle. That's so badass.
Voodoo Tile. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you say that you guys got dropped from Maverick, and so what made you decide to stick with the music industry, for lack of a better term? You said Peter still kind of produced records and stuff. Was Candlebox just in your blood, and you just had to keep it going?
Yeah, I mean, I started the band, so it's kind of always really been my thing, doing music and stuff, and I just kind of I didn't finish college. I graduated high school, started college, and the band got signed. So I really, I never had anything to kind of fall back on. And music is a constant in my life daily. And I couldn't think of doing anything else. I couldn't plan on doing anything else. I didn't want to do anything else. This is what I always wanted to do. I started the Kevin Martin, the High Watts, signed a deal in 2002 with a label called Gold Circle Records, which they ended up folding. And then I signed a small deal with an independent out of Florida, back in 2005, all sorts of independent deals. But I've never gone back to a major, just because it's so difficult to deal with them. You have no control when you're with a major. So it's really just about, making sure that I can make a living and continue to play music. That's really why I do it.
Now, maybe you obviously know more about this than I do, but Maverick Records was Madonna's record label. Was there any other rock bands that were signed on that? I can't recall.
Sure, Deftones.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, Prodigy, Alanis Morissette. Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty special label early on. I mean, they had Story of the Year. I don't know if you remember that band from 2002. Yeah. So they did really, really well. I mean, they had a band called Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. I mean, really had a lot of great rock and roll. I think, they just kind of, unfortunately, like a lot of majors do, they lose direction and they kind of forget, where they came from, and eventually they kind of closed the doors or sold out. I think they sold back to Warner Brothers, who was their parent company.
Now, do you remember you've met Madonna, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember meeting her the first time or whatever?
Yeah. She's lovely. We had dinner with her in New York. Yeah. She was an amazing label boss. I'll tell you that much.
And at that time, she was a gigantic star, and she still is, right?
Yeah, she was enormous when we signed with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge star.
She's from here.
Yeah, no, Detroit girl.
Yeah, one of our former morning show guys actually went to school with her. So It's just kind of wild, but your life must have changed dramatically when that first record dropped, because that first record was, I mean, just out of the gate it just sold and sold and sold, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. We recouped after like I think 20,000 units sold because we made the record so affordably. Yeah, it was pretty shocking. I mean, when you go to the ATM to take some money out, you see six figures in there, you kind of freak out. Can I take any of this out? Is this a mistake? Have I paid taxes yet? That sort of thing. But it was, it was worth every minute of it, man. We had such a great time making that first record. I think, there was a lot of confusion as to who the band was and where we were from, in our own hometown. So, as much as we enjoyed it, there was also the dark side of it, of being a band that, people didn't really think we were from Seattle, and our own crew knew that we were. But yeah, it was strange times. But I bought a Porsche and I bought a house and had a lot of fun. So what are you going to do about it?
So do you still have anything left?
Oh yeah, man.
You love the Porsche or the house?
No. I mean, nobody keeps a Porsche very long. They're too expensive to repair. But no, I mean, I made my investments and stuff, and I did what I needed to do to make sure that, if the band never continued, that I would be able to live my life.
Yeah, you did it smart. Yeah, no question about that. Yeah, it is weird, because there was like the big four from Seattle, like the Alice in Chains and Nirvana. But yeah, you guys were a Seattle band. And also starting out in 1992, there was some rock bands. People say that, the Seattle sound kind of killed a little bit of the rock world or whatever it was. But there was rock bands like you guys, Black Crowes, even like a Jackal, Driving and Crying, some of those bands that were really starting to pop, even though some of the 80s bands kind of got left behind.
Yeah, I mean, there was still great rock and roll out there. Screaming Cheetah Willies was one of my favorite bands, and we were very lucky, man. I tell you, I pinch myself every day. And of course, Detroit was, quite honestly, one of the first cities that embraced us and took us under their wing. And and the WRIF had everything to do with us breaking. I mean, you were one of the first stations in the country to play us, and we've never forgotten that. I think that's the thing about being in a rock and roll band. When you have the success that you hope for, it does come from radio, and you have to respect that, and you have to remember that. And that's, thank God that you guys and several other stations around the country gave us that opportunity, man, because I wouldn't be, sitting here having a conversation with you if that hadn't happened.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. And then last time I saw you, I think was you guys were playing Rockwood down here south of Detroit. Mm-hmm. A couple years ago. So, and then of course, everything happens. So have you played live since we've gotten, kind of sort of back to normal, or no?
Yeah, we just did a little 2-week run through the Midwest. We had to cancel one gig. The promoter in Arkansas just felt that he had 2 bands that came through that both contracted COVID, and he just felt like it was just too risky to have us come play. We're all vaccinated, so we're being incredibly careful ourselves. We aren't doing any meet and greets. We're not doing any VIP. We're not doing any of that. It's really, I mean, I think when we come to do WRIF Fest, I'm doing a meet and greet with a couple of you from their station, but that's it. I mean, I just can't afford to have my tour get shut down, right. Which is, and of course that's happening. We were in Wichita after our Wichita show and woke up in the morning and the Avett brothers were parked right next to us, and we were chatting with them about it. And they're like, yeah, we just had to cancel 3 gigs because of COVID. Mm. So, and it's not in their camp. It was at the venues they were going to, and that's just the thing. I mean, in Garth Brooks, I mean, he just canceled his entire tour. I mean, this is serious stuff. I don't think people are taking this seriously as is. But the unfortunate thing is this is our livelihood as musicians. We haven't been able to do it for 18 months. And some people just don't care. It's very strange. We played in Montana last week, and we had people yelling at us on stage, take your masks off. You don't need those. This is BS, that kind of thing. And it's just not the way it is, man. I mean, I actually just found out a very good friend of mine died on Monday from COVID in Florida, which, I can't believe he didn't get the vaccination. It's just disturbing me that this is happening. And it's really hard to tour as a musician, to make a living when this is what we have to look at every single day, and we have to deal with this unfortunate virus.
Yeah, it seems like you're right, though. People started these bands, they start to tour again and get back going. And I just saw that too with Garth Brooks. I mean, when you're canceling stadium shows, man, it's different of a theater or something, but yeah.
Yeah, it's hundreds of millions of dollars,
right.
On his, Coheed, I think Coheed and Cambria had to cancel a few gigs because of COVID. I mean, this is not going away anytime soon. So we're trying to be as cautious and careful as we can. And fingers crossed we can get through this run from September to November.
Now we're about the same age. So during COVID, during the pandemic, let's just say for that year and a half, did you pick up any new skills or any new hobbies or anything? Did you try anything different to kill time?
I can make a mean loaf of sourdough, bro.
Is that right? So you were cooking?
Yeah, I didn't bother. I should have been, practicing my guitar and doing that sort of stuff. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I fell right into to being the homebody rock and roll musician.
Yeah. Now you have a guitar collection, right?
I do. Yeah, I have a lovely collection.
How many you got?
I'm at about 15, maybe 18 right now.
And they all have like some sort of meaning, or you got them somehow, or?
Oh yeah, all of them are very, very special to me. Every single one of them. I don't just go out and buy guitars. It's gotta, when it gets in your hands and it feels right, then you know what you're doing with it. And I like to buy the vintage, anything earlier than 1990. I'm happy with, but mainly 60s and 70s acoustics is kind of my vice. And then I've got some pretty beautiful 335s, vintage Gibsons, and I've got some great Gretsch guitars. I'm thinking now you've got me taking stock of everything I'm owning. I might actually be over 20 guitars now that I think about it, but yeah, I have a lot I don't use.
I think I interviewed Joe Bonamassa one time and he said he had 400.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Do you have some of the guitars from maybe that you might have used on the first couple albums or whatever from way back in the day?
Yeah, I still have my my Les Paul from the first album. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. It's some cool memorabilia. So, well, we look forward to seeing you coming up here on September 18th. The record drops right before that.
Day before.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that. Of course, it's it's kind of weird. Things that are old are now new again, so it'll be on vinyl and everything. I take it, right?
Yeah.
Do you collect records at all?
I do. I have vinyl from my very first album up until the stuff I bought 5 weeks ago. Yeah.
All right. So my first record was Metallica Ride the Lightning I bought when I was a kid. What was yours? And I still have it.
Kiss Alive too.
Oh, Kiss Alive. All right. So there you go. Another Detroit connection to, well, not the second one, but yeah, it's another Detroit connection there. So
yeah.
That was your band growing up?
Yeah. I was 6 years old when I bought that, which I don't even know. Maybe I got money from my grandmother or something for, my birthday, and that was the record I bought, which I don't even know why. Oh yeah, because my brother had Kiss Alive 1, so I was like, oh, I'll get the second one. So yeah, from the age of 6 till I was about, I don't know, maybe 10, Kiss was everything to me. I just thought, there are pictures of me as a kid dressed up like them for Halloween. Of course, I think every musician's got those pictures, but yeah, that was it. And then right around the age of 10, I started, got really interested into punk rock and new wave music and that sort of thing. So I kind of veered away from the rock and roll for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't believe the amount of artists, well, maybe you can, that I talked to that Kiss was like their stepping stone,
Oh yeah.
I could think about
everybody's.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I can think about 10 of them right off the top of my head. So
yeah.
Well, listen, man, safe travels. We look forward to seeing you, of course, with Rob Zombie, September 18th. Good luck on the record. And as always, thank you so much for the time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, my man.